At Dumas's estate in the south of France, his guests continue to sip cocktails at the center of his maze, increasingly frustrated by all the waiting. Lily asks Damien if this is typical of his former employer. He admits Dumas has always been unpredictable. When Diane suggests they track down Carter for an update, her son jokes he must be recharging at the robot station. Billy suggests they enjoy themselves, and Phyllis cheers to the anticipation, sure that things will get wild when Dumas arrives. Jack thinks Victor and Nikki were right to skip this interlude. Nick imagines his dad will explode soon. On their private train car, Victor and Nikki continue to fume about being forced to wait for Dumas. He assumes this was all planned. It's a bid to wear them down. That may fool the others, but he loves this kind of game and cheers to it. Nikki worries that Dumas could be planning to cause hurt someone they care about. He's sure Dumas is stuffing them all with food and booze, so they won't see what's coming. But if Dumas wants to take him on, that guy doesn't know what he's in for. They're discussing food when Carter arrives and informs them that Dumas has landed in Nice and will be there shortly. He offers to escort them to the meeting locale. "It's about damn time," Victor complains. Outside of the maze, Amanda meets with Dumas. He assumes Victor is digging in his heels, but it's time for him to join the others, or they may kill each other. He's been waiting for this and won't back down now. It's what he wants. Amanda asks if he's ready or needs more time. He doesn't. Billy and Sally watch as their fellow guests get more restless. She wonders if the bottomless drinks will add to the risk. At least there aren't likely to be explosions like at a Newman party. He jokes they should dine and dash after dinner. Anything sounds good to Spectra, as long as she doesn't have to make small talk with Phyllis. Phyllis swans over to the Abbotts and tells them about the vibe. They have heard she plans to set up some kind of a partnership with their host. She says it's in the beginning stages and speculates about whether Dumas plans to make allies with half of them to wipe the other half out. Diane says it sounds like he's looking for a henchwoman. "Good idea," gushes Phyllis, slinking off. Audra asks the Winters if any of them have a satellite phone. She doesn't like being separated from Nate and Amy and hopes this is worth it. Lily spots Amanda arriving and tells Damien who she is. Audra comments that it must be awkward to be around an ex who knows all your weaknesses. Amanda thanks all the guests for coming, and Jack asks when they can thank their eccentric host. Amanda explains that Dumas is excited to see them all very soon. Phyllis sidles up to her and comments on how great this is. She says the other guests lack her patience. This is the best party ever, and she's eager to pitch to Dumas's face. Amanda assures her that he's already there. Amanda approaches Lily and asks her to speak in private. Reluctantly, Lily leaves with her and Phyllis follows from a distance. Once Lily and Amanda have made it some way into the maze, Lily begins to worry. Amanda doesn't want anyone eavesdropping, but Lily won't go any further until she knows why she has taken her away from the group. Sitting down, she refuses to take another step until she gets honest answers. The lawyer grudgingly explains that Dumas wants to speak to her privately before he sees the others. She won't say why, which irks Lily. Something is not right. Amanda promises all her questions will be answered if she goes on. As they continue through the maze, Phyllis tries to catch up with them. Bringing Lily to a clearing, Amanda gestures to the man in the corner with his back to them. He thanks Amanda, and she leaves them alone. Lily approaches, saying it's nice to finally meet him. She's aghast he stands and turns to her. "Hello, Lily," he says. It's her ex-husband, Kane Ashby. Flummoxed, she demands to know what he is doing there and why he's calling himself Dumas. She thinks this is all a sick game. Kane explains that he's not just pretending for tonight. This has been going on for a long time. Lily refuses to believe it. Kane says that he needed to keep his new path in life separate. There's a lot more to it than a name and a state. They can discuss it after he meets the other guests. Lily complains that this feels so wrong and deceitful, but Kane thinks she'll understand once he walks her through it. He just wanted her to learn about him on her own, rather than with the others. The name Dumas may be a lie, but he created him and he is him. Lily can't understand how he's been lying to her for years. Do the kids know? He says he wouldn't have asked the kids to keep anything from her. She remembers he lied when he first came to Genoa City. How did he end up a billionaire in 6 years? He gives his word that he did nothing illegal and will explain all of it later. Right now, he needs to tell the others. Throwing up her hands, Lily runs into the maze. Back in the maze, Phyllis bumps into Amanda, who stops her from going further. She forbids her from interrupting Lily and Dumas. Phyllis demands to know why Lily got in first. The lawyer explains it's personal. Phyllis worries that she will get lost in the mix once all the other vultures swoop in. Her friend urges her not to push her or her boss. The redhead asks for the chance to see him from a distance. Amanda warns that if she did, she could lose the chance of getting anything from this trip. Back at the center of the maze, Damien and Devin wonder why Lily was taken aside. Damien doubts he's out to cause conflict, but he could be working some other angle. Victor and Nikki arrive and explain that Carter has informed them Dumas will be there shortly. Nick says he's out of there if Dumas doesn't show his face by morning. Victor joins Devin and Damien. Devin explains that Abby is at home because their son is ill. Once Victor is introduced to Damien, he asks about his former boss. This is the first time Damien has heard of Dumas holding an event. They only hope he shows up. Devin explains that Amanda took Lily away for some mysterious reason. Victor mulls that over. Kyle makes his way over to Audra and says Dumas must have a private satellite system they can hack into. They can't have an online feud if they aren't online. She says she's only there to make viral noise for Vibranti. She's already prepared her first post and all the hashtags. Kyle suggests they enjoy themselves, so she asks him to fill her glass. As they drink, she shows him her latest selfies and wonders what their host looks like. He jokes that Dumas could be 3 dogs in a trench coat. Jack and Diane watch their son with his ex. Diane admits that in her younger years, she would have already thrown a drink at that woman. She misses those years. Jack takes the drink from her hands and says the viral campaign isn't a bad idea. Diane isn't seeing any product sales and worries that their son and that woman could pull some stunt. It doesn't help that Victor is backing Audra, and Kyle wouldn't be the first to fall back on bad habits. "I want our son away from her," she insists. At their table, Billy and Sally discuss how Dumas wanted to help him go after Chancellor. She reminds him he agreed to drop that to focus on their company. Billy wants to be front row and center if Dumas ends up going toe-to-toe with Victor at this boondoggle. Nikki approaches Nick at a table and says she's sure Sharon must be grateful he brought her along. She notes Sharon has attracted a lot of drama this year. Her son asks her to quit while she's ahead and notices Michael and Lauren seem to have turned down the invitation. That's a relief to his mom. Michael leaving Victor of his own volition isn't something Victor can easily forgive. They are sure Victor is on edge, and one wrong move could drive him over. Nikki assumes Victor has some ace up his sleeve. When she joins her husband at a table, he explains that Dumas is meeting with Lily. Nikki finds that odd, but he sits back and explains this only confirms that he was right about what his suspicions surrounding Dumas's real identity. Nearby, Devin and Damien talk to Sharon and Nick. Damien is happy to meet the owner of Crimson Lights, his favorite coffee spot. They joke about how you are always destined to run into people you want to see and don't want to see there. Sharon explains she and Nick ran it together while they were married, but they haven't been married lately. They are just traveling together as friends. Phyllis and Amanda stride in, and the redhead starts aggressively mixing a drink. "Buckle up, Buttercup," she says, raising her glass to Billy. Devin approaches and asks where his sister is. Phyllis blurts out that she's meeting with Dumas privately. He continues demanding answers from Amanda, but she won't tell him anything and walks away. Damien hurries over to him, and Devin complains things are not okay. Meanwhile, Nikki starts quizzing Amanda about her employer. She assures them they will have answers soon. In the maze, Lily runs out of breath as she gets lost. As she calls for help, Devin and Damien rush in. They find her catching her breath, and she blurts out, "Kane is Dumas!" They declare that can't be true, but she explains that Amanda took her to him. They have been in on this together. Back at the center, everyone notices the screaming has stopped and wonder if Lily is okay. Sally points out that Phyllis claimed Lily was meeting with Dumas. Nikki finds that unlikely, but Amanda confirms it is true, and there is nothing to fear. Jack has had enough for the night, and so has Nick. Before anyone can leave, Kane drifts in and thanks them all for coming. Billy wonders why he's there. "Everyone, this is Kane Ashby. He's been using the name Aristotle Dumas for the last 6 years," Victor explains before demanding to know what he wants from them. "Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, Pulse Canvas. It's me, Julie here. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Keep watching." So let's dive into today's video. On the June 20th, 2025 episode of The Young and the Restless, Dumas revealed himself to Lily and his guests. He's Kane Ashby, who is Lily's ex-husband. Dumas's party guests, minus Victor and Nikki, who were in their train cabin, were getting, well, restless over their host's absence. Nick said he was ready to go if Dumas didn't show up soon. Billy suggested to Sally that they dine and dance. Sally was up for that as long as she didn't have to interact with Phyllis. In their cabin, Victor assured Nikki that Dumas didn't know what he was in for. Nikki pointed out to her husband that he may hate the Abbotts, but they have friends on this trip too. She added that she was starving, and it was rude of Dumas not to show up. Then, Carter appeared at their door. Victor suggested that Carter have some good news. Nikki asked when they'd be meeting Dumas. Carter answered that that would be soon and said he'd bring them to the party. Dumas and Amanda met in private. She cautioned him on his plan. Amanda asked if he was ready. Dumas assured her that he was. He pointed out to Amanda that she took care of his business details, so she didn't have to worry about his personal life. He'd come too far to back out now. Phyllis interrupted Kyle, Jack, and Diane. Phyllis teased that she was developing a relationship with the mysterious mogul. Diane made a dig at Phyllis that Dumas might be looking for a henchman or a henchwoman to do his dirty work. "Good idea," Phyllis enthused. Audra hoped someone had a satellite phone so that she could get hold of Nate. Then Amanda entered the courtyard. Audra noted to Devon that it was awkward to be around an ex at this time, as they would know their ex's weakness. Then she glanced at Kyle. Amanda assured everyone that Dumas was looking forward to meeting everyone soon. Phyllis thanked Amanda for getting her on the guest list. The fiery redhead noted that not everyone has patience like she does. Amanda chuckled at her pal for thinking she was patient in life. Amanda asked Lily for a private moment. Lily was curious, but agreed to go with Amanda. Phyllis followed them. Amanda and Lily relocated to a private area in the maze of shrubbery. Lily called Amanda out for making small talk with her. She asked her why she was being evasive. Lily refused to go any further until Amanda started giving some answers. She wanted to know why Amanda was separating her from the group. Lily sat down and said she wasn't taking a step further. Amanda implored Lily to trust her. She said that Dumas would like to talk to Lily first. Lily wanted to know why he wanted to talk to her, given all the power brokers that were at the party. Lily had no reason to meet with Dumas. A suspicious Lily pointed out that something wasn't right, and she needed Amanda to tell her what it was right now. Amanda promised Lily she'd get all the answers she wanted, but to please come with her. Lily reluctantly agreed. Meanwhile, Phyllis was wandering through the maze of shrubbery, trying to keep up with them. Next, Amanda brought Lily to Dumas. She saw him from the back. Then, he stood up and turned around. "Hello, Lily," Dumas said. Lily didn't think this was Dumas at all, since she was standing in front of her ex-husband, Kane Ashby. "Why are you here?" Lily asked her former mate. Kane explained to Lily that Aristotle Dumas was an alias he'd been using. Lily couldn't wrap her head around the fact that Dumas was the man who owned this estate, not Kane. Kane/Dumas said that he wanted to tell Lily everything. They'll talk more after he greets his other guests. Still confused, Lily said they're not waiting for Kane, they're waiting for Dumas. Kane/Dumas said they were waiting for him. Lily said this reminded her of the deception that Kane perpetrated when he first came to Genoa City. Lily asked why Kane dragged her here and why he'd been lying to her. Meanwhile, Phyllis ran into Amanda in the maze of shrubbery. Phyllis wanted to meet with Dumas, but Amanda said that wasn't going to happen. Phyllis begged her friend to give her just a second of Dumas's time. Amanda firmly told Phyllis to stop. Amanda warned Phyllis not to get a glimpse of Dumas. Back at the courtyard, Devin told Damien that he had no idea why Amanda pulled Lily aside. Maybe Dumas wants to pit Lily and Devin against each other. Then, Victor and Nikki arrived. They shared that Carter told them Dumas was nearby and would be there shortly. Victor agreed with Nick that if Dumas didn't show up by the morning, they would go back to Genoa City. Kyle suggested to Audra that they hire Phyllis to do some online hacking. They could have their social media feud without much effort. Audra didn't think Phyllis would want to work with either her or her former son-in-law. Audra added she had her first social post ready to go, which would attack Jabot. Meanwhile, Victor greeted Devin and wanted to know where Abby was. Devin explained that Dominic had taken ill and Abby would be coming later. Devin introduced Damien and Victor to each other. Victor tried to pump Damien for information about Dumas, but he didn't have much to share. Nikki and Nick talked about Nick bringing Sharon with her on 2 trips. She asked if Sharon was enjoying herself. Nick asked his mother to stop, even though she hadn't said anything bad about her ex-daughter-in-law just yet. Nikki thought it was best that Michael and Lauren were no-shows, given that Michael quit working for Victor. Nikki thought about how Victor might react to this Dumas situation. Maybe he'd need a good lawyer on his side. Devon told Victor that Amanda was there and that she worked for Dumas. Lily marveled at the fact that Kane was lying to her the whole time, as they'd been talking about their children, Charlie and Maddie, for years. How could Kane be a billionaire 6 years after he left town? Kane promised to answer all her questions. A stunned Lily walked out on Kane. As anticipation over Dumas grew, Billy wondered if Dumas had any popcorn. Then, Victor told Nikki that Dumas was on the property. Victor told her that Lily was speaking to Dumas first. Nikki thought that was odd, but Victor didn't. Victor said his suspicions about Dumas were confirmed. Diane quipped to Jack that when she was younger, she would have spilled a drink to get rid of Audra. Jack said Vibrante may get a boost, but Audra's idea will give Jabot a boost too. Diane suggested to Jack that they were like Audra and Kyle back when they were younger. She pointed out that Audra was backed by Victor's money, and that Kyle might not be the first person to fall back on bad habits. Damien was thrilled to meet Nick and Sharon, as Crimson Lights is his favorite shop. Nick and Sharon confirmed that they were no longer together romantically, but they were the best of friends. Then, Phyllis and Amanda rejoined the others. Devin wanted to know why Lily didn't return. Phyllis said it was because Lily and Dumas were having a private meeting. Devin confronted Amanda and asked why her boss wanted to see Lily alone. Amanda said it was between Dumas and Lily. Devin pushed, but Amanda said she was fine. Amanda said she followed her boss's directives. On her way back to the courtyard, Lily got lost in the maze of shrubbery. She cried out for help, but no one heard her over the party noise. Meanwhile, Jack, Diane, and Nikki engaged Amanda in conversation about Dumas. Nikki pointed out that they'd all been invited there without much explanation. Devin and Damien ran to Lily's rescue after hearing her frantic voice. Lily explained to Devin and Damien that Kane was there and that he was Dumas. She added that Dumas and Amanda were in this together. "He's telling everyone that he's Dumas," Lily said. Then, Kane/Dumas appeared to his guests in the courtyard. "Kane, what do you want?" an amused Billy asked. Victor informed everyone that Kane was Dumas. Kane no Dumas asked Victor how long he'd known. Victor responded by asking Kane what he wanted from everyone. The mystery surrounding Aristotle Dumas unravels as Kane. Ashby's shocking revelation stuns Lily and the rest of the guests. Will this twist change everything for the Winters family? In The Young and the Restless, June 20th episode, the drama unfolded as Kane Ashby revealed his shocking identity as Aristotle Dumas to a furious Lily and stunned guests. Amanda led Lily through the maze to meet the elusive Dumas Billy Flynn. When she finally came face to face with him, she was left speechless. To her shock, Dumas turned out to be none other than her ex-husband Kane. Lily's world was rocked as Kane explained that his identity had been hidden for reasons he was not yet ready to fully reveal. The twist left Lily furious, and she lashed out, questioning his motives. Kane promised that he would answer all of her questions in time, but Lily was not convinced. Her anger only intensified as she processed the betrayal. Meanwhile, in the train car, the rest of the guests waited impatiently, wondering when Dumas would finally show his face. Victor and Nikki grew increasingly uneasy with each passing moment. Victor questioned Dumas's true intentions and what kind of deal he was orchestrating behind the scenes. As they sat and waited, the group discussed the mysteries of Dumas's rise to power and what his ultimate goal might be. Everyone was speculating about his next move, with Victor remaining firm in his suspicions. Sharon worried about Dumas possibly causing harm to their friends, but Victor was confident they would soon get the answers they were all seeking. Phyllis continued to follow Amanda closely, eager to get a glimpse of Dumas. When she learned that Lily had been taken aside to meet with him first, Phyllis's frustration boiled over. She was desperate to uncover Dumas's secrets before anyone else, but Amanda explained that this was a personal matter for Lily. Despite the obstacles, Phyllis was unwilling to back down and tried to find any opportunity to get closer to Dumas. Back in the maze, Lily, still reeling from her confrontation with Kane, called out for help. Devin and Damien rushed to her side. Lily, hyperventilating, blurted out the truth. Kane was Dumas. The revelation shocked everyone. When Kane entered the room, the mystery finally came to a head. Victor introduced Kane as Dumas to the group. Everyone was left stunned, including Billy, who couldn't understand why Kane was involved in this scheme. Kane, still calm and collected, stood by his decision, ready to reveal more about his plan in the coming days. But the question remained, what exactly did Kane, or Dumas, want from the group? With Kane's shocking reveal, the future of the Winters family was uncertain. Lily wasn't sure how to move forward, while the rest of the guests, including Victor, Nick, and Phyllis, were left questioning the true intentions behind Dumas's game. The Young and the Restless spoilers reveal a preview clip has been released for the week of June 23, 2025. It shows Michael Baldwin and Lauren Fenmore Baldwin showing up at Aristotle Dumas' party. Meanwhile, back in Genoa City, Claire Grace Newman bonds with Holden Novak. Keep reading and let's talk about what is coming up in the CBS soap opera. The weekly preview clip begins with Billy Abbott. Surrounded by all the other party guests, Billy demands to know what is going on. Now surrounded by people she knows, Lily Winters steps forward, saying she wants to know too. A woman's voice echoes out, "No more secrets and no more games." As the party guests surround Aristotle Dumas, demanding answers, there are two surprise arrivals. Michael and Lauren stumble out of the maze and are stunned to run into the crowd. The tension is apparent immediately, so Michael declares that they started the party without them. Then, Lauren awkwardly asks if they missed anything while looking around with raised eyebrows and widened eyes. The Young and the Restless spoilers for the week of June 23rd reveal that Jack Abbott theorizes. Jack states that Chance Chancellor stands out the most. Diane Jenkins Abbott states that Kane Ashby has ties to Jill Abbott. Sally remarks that it could be related to Chancellor Industries. Chance is a chancellor, after all. Billy adds that Chance is also a cop. The tone is pretty serious from all the characters. So, I wonder if there is a mystery to solve, maybe one that Dumas never planned on? It is also shown that Amanda Sinclair warns Kane about Victor Newman. Kane promises he won't underestimate Victor. However, Kane also adds that Victor underestimated Dumas, and now he's underestimating him. Phyllis Summers interrupts Kane and Amanda's conversation. Phyllis says that she would never do anything like that to him. Elsewhere, Audra Charles to put sunscreen on her back. Back in Genoa City, Claire and Holden have drinks. Holden calls himself lucky, and Claire has an odd look on her face as she sips her cocktail. When half of Genoa City's elite boarded the train to head to France for Aristotle Dumas's party on The Young and the Restless, I was honestly curious to see who was going to step on that train and what would happen soon after. When I saw that Abby didn't board the train with the rest of the Winters family, I had to admit I was slightly disappointed. She is a legacy character, Serge, connected to the Winters family through Devin, and she also has connections with Chance and other power players in the town. At first, I thought it was a missed opportunity, But after watching the episode on June 19th, I started to think that maybe Abby not being on that train wasn't just a scheduling oversight. It meant a little more than I allowed myself to believe. It didn't take long for the show to show us that Abby's absence was a big deal. Carter, Dumas' assistant, confronted Devon and the group on the train, and it was an opening for guests to welcome them. Carter was pretty adamant about wanting Abby there, and it wasn't just casual terms or ambiguous. He was firm and bordering on desperate, which caught me by surprise. Abby Newman is hardly a character that people chase down, especially not billionaires who haven't even been introduced yet. As Carter kept mentioning her name, I started realizing what it really meant for her to not be there. This was not just a scenario where a party guest missed a train. Abby was pivotal to something bigger than that. When the show finished with Dumas himself saying, "I can't wait any longer," at the end of the episode, it became obvious. This wasn't just an invitation sent to Abby. This was something she was essential to. That completely reframed my disappointment. Suddenly, the idea of Abby missing that train was a plot point, a conscious choice, and now I am even more excited to watch The Young and the Restless. My mind started racing with all the possible implications. Is he someone from Abby's past? A former fling? A connection from when she lived abroad? Or is there some kind of twist in the story that has Dumas related to Chance, which in turn is a tie to Dom? That last one got me thinking. It's clear Dumas has an air of mystery about him, and I wouldn't be shocked if The Young and the Restless is having a surprise family connection. Abby has been seen to keep secrets and make unexpected connections for years, and Dumas could be adding more to that list. If there is some sort of romantic past, I also wonder what Devon will think. Abby and he have been in a good place with their co-parenting of Dominic, but this Dumas plot could throw everything off balance. Maybe Dumas wants something from Abby that Devon doesn't agree with, or maybe Dumas's and Abby's past is something more emotional than anyone understands. The big takeaway is that Abby is finally getting pulled into something layered. She was dropped to recurring status, and I was worried the writers would forget about her, but now that Dumas is focused on her, it feels like this is big. This whole mystery may be how she gets pulled back to be part of a more central story, and I'm here for it. Nobody forgot Abby was present on the train, and they weren't simply leaving her out of the scene entirely. It felt more like a statement that she is now the foreground rather than the background. She's the missing piece. Now I'm just excited to know where this leads on The Young and the Restless. Here is your weekly recap of The Young and the Restless for the episodes that aired June 16th through 20th, 25. This week on The Young and the Restless, Mariah continued to be tormented by her memories of sharing drinks with an older man, and she resolved to never tell anyone her secret. Tessa was shattered when Mariah insisted that they separate while she dealt with her issues. Mariah later saw Tessa platonically seeking solace in Daniel's arms. Danny told Daniel that he planned to ask Christine to marry him again. Nate ordered Holden to leave town. Adam and Chelsea steeled themselves to face Victor's wrath after ignoring Victor's command to trash Billy in the press. Dumas's guests arrived in Nice at staggered times, boarding a luxurious train with private sleeping cars to take them to their final destination. Victor hinted that he knew Dumas's identity. Upon arrival at Dumas's estate, the guests were required to make their way through a maze of hedges to get to the party. Lily coached Damien through dealing with a claustrophobic episode inside the maze. Nick talked Phyllis down when the idea of playing human games triggered flashbacks of being held captive in the mental facility. Sharon stumbled upon Nick and Phyllis embracing. Audra seductively allowed Kyle to test out Vibrante's new scent. Kyle worried about what he was up against. Diane disapproved of Kyle and Audra spending time together. Kyle was frustrated when he couldn't reach Claire because there was no cell service. The guests were astounded by the estate's opulence. Dumas' creepy assistant, Carter, informed everyone that Dumas had been delayed, but Dumas secretly monitored his guests via surveillance cameras. Some guests became restless and prepared to leave the next day. Amanda showed up and encouraged everyone to stay. Amanda singled Lily out for a private meeting with Dumas. Phyllis followed Amanda and Lily, but Amanda forced Phyllis to return to the party. Lily was stunned to face Kane, who revealed that he was Aristotle Dumas. Upset by Kane's lies, Lily fled into the maze and suffered her own panic attack, but Devon and Damien heard her cries and rescued her. Cain entered the party, and Victor announced that Cain had been masquerading as Aristotle Dumas. Mariah and Tessa became my favorite soap couple ever since I first saw them on The Young and the Restless. Their love story, though not perfect, always felt real and deep. They built a beautiful relationship out of difficult circumstances, such as navigating personal traumas by being next to each other and forming a family together. This is why it is painful to watch their relationship crumble, not because of betrayal or cheating, but rather silence. As a longtime fan of The Young and the Restless, I expected more from Taraya as a couple. I always assumed that if Taraya broke up on The Young and the Restless, it would be because of an outside force or a conflict that they could not resolve together, not their actions. Now we are forced to watch Mariah slip further into the void she created through this secret, and she is slowly pushing away the person who stood with her throughout everything. It all started after Mariah returned from the business trip, which ruined everything. She looked completely shattered after her return. Her demeanor was subtle to begin with, but slowly it became noticeable. She was seen confiding in Sharon that she had done something terrible, which she could not disclose to Tessa. That one line sent chills down my spine. Not just because of what it implied, but because it set a course that felt so unlike them. One thing I admired about Mariah and Tessa was their ability to communicate even when the problem seemed hard, and so to see her shut Tessa out hurt. The situation seemed even worse when she implied that whatever she did was worse than a one-night stand. She refused Sharon's support and also started shutting Tessa out. Though the writers have not given us much detail to go by, they have hinted that it involves a possibly predatory old man. The fact that the old man could be Ian Ward makes it harder to watch. Understandably, Mariah is having a hard time dealing with the trauma, but the way the soap is drawing it out is making it harder for the viewers to watch. This makes me frustrated rather than feel empathy for Mariah. On the other hand, Tessa is left in the dark completely. She is trying to connect and communicate with her wife, who refuses to do so. She is also oblivious to the truth, which makes it harder for her. It is heartbreaking to see her struggle. This silence is creating an emotional distance between Taraya and feels more damaging. Mariah should have just come out clean, and they could have faced it together. What I feel most let down by is the fact that there is not a straight-up villain in this narrative, only the isolation that comes from secrets. And that is what I think is so crushing. Mariah has not betrayed Tessa with someone else, and Tessa has not deserted her. But they are still separated because Mariah will not share. The idea of Mariah trying to keep it together while everything disintegrates triggers something, and it is so heartbreaking. Not in a sort of dramatic, soap opera enactment twist of betrayal kind of way, but instead in a subdued, immobilizing way that leaves you, as the viewer of The Young and the Restless, feeling helpless. There is an inclination that Tessa may become closer to Daniel. I hope the writers will not let that happen. Tessa needs a place to talk, but if she develops a romantic, emotional connection with Daniel before she at least knows what is going on with Mariah, this will erase years of development. I still want Taraya to overcome this. They deserve to finish on their terms and not due to unspoken hurt. If Mariah can summon the strength to open up, who knows if they can build upon the foundation they have already created. It will take more than a few flashbacks and vague warnings from a ghost to bring them back together. Time is running out, and I hope The Young and the Restless writers remember what made this couple matter to viewers in the first instance. And it wasn't perfection. It was honesty,